The Johnson Viking II Amberlin HQ145 receiver. Hi everyone, I'm Francesco Continolo, W7 Lima Tango Golf here near Reno, Nevada. I have a Johnson Viking II I restored, and I have a Hammerlin HQ145A I restored, and I want them to work together. One's a receiver, one's a transmitter, with a Dow Key. And I had a hard time finding this Dow Key. It took months. There are not many of them out there on eBay. And so I got one, it says 110 volts out. I received that. So on the Viking II, but now it's 120. And relay is set up for 110, but it will take 120. Here it is. A very dangerous relay, Dow Key, due to the fact that there's a lot of voltage out there. Even when you have your transmitter turned off. One side of it could be the neutral, could be the hot, not sure. If it would be ground out, it would blow your circuit breaker, or if you touched it, you would get a shock of your life. Could be very dangerous. So make sure you unplug it, and once you do hook up the Dow Key, make sure you never put your hand back there to tighten things up. You can knock that socket right off of there really easy. They come off very easy. It could ground out, and you don't want to be back there. So once you set it up, make sure you don't put your hand back there. If you do decide to fix something or change coax, unplug it. That's my precaution of it. I'm going to show you how to tune up the Johnson Viking II and show you how the Dow Key works in the simulation that I have the Dow Key hooked up to the back. What I do have is the 120 coming out to the relay and to the Johnson, to the Hammerlin HQ145A accessory plug. Turn it on and off. I'm going to show you how that's going to set up. Then I'll show you later how to hook it all up. So here we go. Here we are with Johnson Viking II Dow Key relay, and not hooked up to anything, but is hooked up to the accessory plug of the receiver. And this is the Johnson Viking II Dow Key relay, the right one that has 6 terminals to hook up, open, or close. And I did wire the 110, the 120. I keep saying 110 because that's back in 57, voltage was a lot lower. So it's wired up, soldered, good connections. Make sure they're really good connections. You don't want that 120 cold solder joints, anything like that could be very dangerous. Due to the fact, I'm going to show you how this is set up. I'm going to first tune up the Johnson Viking II and show you how that works first. Okay. First turn on your play switch. Ensure that you're on the band that you want. Mine will be 80. And we'll let that warm up until you see oscillation. Okay, and it's taking its time. And of course, it's got to be on CW. So this is the normal, what the oscillation is. You want to go to VFR. VFR is your oscillator. You want to adjust that close to the red mark. Then you want to go to grid and adjust that buffer to about where it was, just under the red mark. Okay. Now We can't go to the grid yet. We can't go to the plate yet. Due to the fact that my antenna is tuned up on 75 meters. And your roller inductor should be around under 20 for 75 meters on 80. So it's pretty close. And we'll go and dip the plate. So I make sure I'm on the right antenna, and we'll see if we need to dip the plate. So we'll go bring it off. Be cautious, make sure you're on dummy load first, which I was not. So I'm on dummy load, and I'm going to dip the plate, and there she is. She's around 13 on the plate. Alright, let's see how much power am I putting out. So go over here. And let's see if we can focus on that. We'll see how much water she is. About 120 watts. Okay, so got the BFO, and I got that red line, and my oscillation could be adjusted, and it should be right on frequency, 3870. That's using your spectrum scope on your radio. It does help. That's cheating a little bit, but that's the way you do it. On the BFO, we'll focus on that. She says 3870, so I did adjust that perfectly right. Also replaced that. I replaced it with a 10K resistor there, a block resistor, due to the fact that it had a Chernobyl resistor in there. It was at 8900, and it tended to drift a little bit. This stops it from drifting. So now we're all tuned up. Let's fire it up to HQ145A. And see if we get audio. We're still on CW. We're right on frequency. Now we go to phone and see if the receiver turns off. Setting up the Dow Key the right way. Transmitting 120 watts, and the receiver turned itself off. Success. Now on part 2, let's try to hook it all up, make sure it's safe, and be cautious. Make sure you unplug it when you hook everything up. Very dangerous if you make one mistake, that's it. So this is part 1. We'll do part 2 later, and we'll just send this one out and come out with part 2 next go around. I'm Francesca from W7LTG in Spanish Springs, Nevada. And I got more projects to work on. I've got a Hammerlin HX500, what you see back there. I work on that. and I got a Swan 700CX to work on. And make sure you run these things. Don't put these things in the garage, because a lot of the moisture gets to it, they rust, parts go bad, caps will go bad if you don't use this. And 16 hours later replacing the Johnson Viking II caps, because it was in the garage for 40 years, pretty dirty. And it was a lot of work cleaning that up, replacing all the caps. 3 or 4 resistors were just about open. Some of the values were too high, 100 ohm resistors over 220. So I replaced all those and all the caps in there, because what happens with the old caps, they dry out and you don't even want to turn it on. You want to go in there and you do an inspection, you see a bad cap, you want to change them all. It runs 100% perfect, modulation's there. I got 120 microvolts on the modulation on the Johnson Viking II, which is where you want it, and you want your bias at 55 to 60 milliamps. So anyway, I will catch you later on part 2. I'm Francesca, W7LTG.